What's up, guys? Welcome back to Hands On channel. For the first time ever, the XR650l broke down on me. So I wasn't expecting that, obviously. I was actually going over to my in-laws' house on the 4th of July, or actually it was the 3rd of July. And I got about halfway there. All of a sudden, the bike just went bruh and wouldn't start. It would just crank and crank. It was cranking all day long, but no start. So what I ended up doing was basically I waited around there on the side of the road for quite a while, and finally actually my daughter was going to come and help me out, but then somebody else with a pickup truck passed me by and said, "Hey man, you want a lift or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, heck yeah, if you'll help me out." So anyways, a kind person basically brought my bike home for me, so I didn't have to push it. You know, I don't know, I was probably about 10 miles away from home, so that would have been quite a push with this big heavy bike. But anyways, I wasn't really sure what to do. I was like, well, I'm looking at the fuses, I'm looking at everything, and it all looked good. And I also checked the spark. That was one of the things I did right away. Was when I got it home, I checked the spark, and I had no spark. So I'm like, okay, I've heard about this before. It's probably the CDI box, control module or ignition control module box. So let me get around there and show you what we found. Okay, so the CDI box, and that's actually the new one down there that you're seeing. That's located behind the battery back there. It's this guy right here. And here's the old one that I pulled out. There were no signs of any problems. It wasn't swollen up or anything. I tried banging on it on the side of the road to see if I could get it to work, and nothing was working. So, I mean, it was just cranking and cranking until the point where I was about to run my battery down, and that wasn't any good. So all your fuses are located right there in front of the battery. I checked all those on the side of the road, and even changed out a couple of them because there are some spares down there. So I changed out a couple of them just thinking, well, maybe it's this one, and it never changed anything. So if you run into this problem where your XR650l will just crank and crank and not start, and you know you don't have any spark, check your fuses first, because that's the easiest thing. Make sure you got gasoline in the tank and all that obvious stuff. But if it's not really obvious, it could be this, the CDI box. And I ordered this actually through Walmart.com. It took about 2 or 3 weeks to get here. That was my only complaint about it. But it was only like 20 bucks or less, like $18 or something. And since this happened to me, I'm probably going to go ahead and order a spare. Especially if I'm going to be getting far away from home, out in the remote areas. That knowing that this is kind of a weak link. I don't think they go they don't go bad very often. But when they do, you're not going to get the bike started back up, even if you try push starting it or anything. So anyways, it's fairly easy to change out. I'm not going to show you all that. There is a frame bracket there that's laying down right here. That you have to reinstall that back in there to hold the CDI box in and everything like that. But probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a spare one of these if you guys are riding your 650l way out in the remote area. So let's see how we did and see if she'll fire up. I ain't gonna lie, I already checked it off camera and it fired up as soon as I switched that thing out. So guys, just a little FYI, if you have an XR650l, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a spare CDI box back there in your pouch or in your backpack or someplace, just in case you need to change it out on the side of the road. Otherwise, this has been a very reliable bike for me. I was very shocked whenever it happened because it was the last bike in the world I expected to leave me stranded on the side of the road, but it did happen. So just be warned, that's a thing that can go bad. And this bike has very low miles on it. Let me check it right quick. I've got 1,653 miles on this bike, so it wasn't mileage that wore out the CDI box. It was probably just age, because this bike is a 96 model, I believe. So The only other thing that happened was right before the CDI box went bad, and I'm not sure this is related or not, but right before it went bad, I washed the bike because it was really dirty. So maybe a little water got somewhere it wasn't supposed to be and shorted the CDI box out. I don't know. Just be very careful, and probably be a good idea to have a spare. So she's running like a brand new 650L. So guys, I gotta let you go and get out here. I gotta put this bike back together and get out here and rip some wheelies, because man, I haven't been able to do any wheelies since like July 3rd. So I'm really needing to rip a few wheelies. So, all right, appreciate you tuning in, and until then, we'll see you next time.